Welcome to another edition of Metropole Sports Center. My name is Nashon Owano. Hoping you've had a fantastic festive season. Time to look into the world of sport, into what is trending, what is going on into the world of sport. Today on Metropole Sports Center, we are going to have a look into the transfer talk. Who's moving to where, from where, who is moving to which team, from which team. Then we're going to take a brief look into what is going on in the Spanish La Liga, and also take a deep delve into the upcoming events that are going to be shaping the year 2020. Well, on to the transfer conversation that is currently going on. There are already confirmed players that have already moved on loan to other teams. The conversations are still ongoing. Just to set the tone for the conversation that you're going to be having today, this is just a bit of data in terms of how much the teams have so far spent in the January transfer period. In the year 2018, the teams spent a total of 465.2 million euros, which is the highest amount of money that has been spent during the transfer period. In 2011, a total of 225 million euros was spent during the transfer period. In 2017, 221.2 million euros was spent. In 2016 and 2018, 172.7 million and 175 million euros was spent in respectively in those 2 years, 2016 and 2008. And finally, in 2009, a total of 170 million euros was spent during the transfer period. A bit look into who have been the biggest transfers during the January transfer period. We have Virgil van Dijk, who was bought at a total of 95 million euros. Christian Pulisic, who currently plays for Chelsea, was bought at a total of 57.5 million euros. And then Emerick Laporte was bought at 57.2 million euros. Those are the top three biggest January transfers. You remember the league is still progressing. The standings will going to be giving you how the teams stack up in the standings so far. To help me put the transfer conversation into perspective, I'm joined in studio by Ronald Okoth. Ronald Okoth is the founder of RO Sports Management, an organization that he's going to talk more about RO Sports. Welcome to studio, Ronald.
Oh, thanks for having me once again.
Yes.
It's a pleasure to be back on the show.
Thank you so much for spending the time for creating time to come in studio. Yes. So a lot of conversation going on in the transfer period. So what's your general take about what has transpired so far?
Well, I think we're just seeing the same old trend or the same old routine, because I mean, clubs that are struggling are also trying to bring in more new players into the team to try and maybe beef up the squad. And also you can see the clubs that are performing well are only spending a little bit of money. You can see the likes of Liverpool only bringing probably only one guy into the team, because I mean, if you look at the quality in that team, they have the quality and they have the depth in that team. So I think we're just seeing a recurring trend of the transfer, maybe season on the transfer, the way things have been done in the past transfer market. And I don't think anything is bound to change, even though we are seeing there's a different trend now whereby defenders are now costing so much more than even the midfielders and strikers. So I think we are seeing football being a bit more commercial, and there's a trend that where now defenders are even being rated highly more than the strikers. And that's something that we used not to see some time back.
Okay. Yeah. The new Tottenham boss, Jose Mourinho, made his first transfer. That's Gedson Fernandes, was moved on loan from Benfica. Yeah. What do you make of that? Do you think it's going to have a bigger impact? I think you're having this conversation. Do you think it's going to have a bigger impact on how the team is currently constituted? Yeah,
it's going to have a bigger impact, and I also think it's a desperate move, because if you look at Spurs at the moment, they are lacking short of they're short of midfielders, especially maybe attacking the midfielders and also defensive midfielders. Because if you look at the team, especially the midfielders, they've been cropped with a lot of injuries. Yeah. And if you even look at our own Victor Nyama has fallen down into the rank and is not even being put in the match squad of the traveling team. So I think Fernandes coming to Spurs, it's a desperate move, because he's so desperate to try and maybe bring in somebody in that midfield who can maybe rejuvenate and maybe try to push on the team, because as we speak right now, Eriksen is already leaving the team at the end of the season. So we're probably seeing another Tottenham that will be taking another years to rebuild again, because I mean, this is a project that took the former manager years and years to build, and we are seeing that the moment it was now starting to pick up, the coach left, and also now we are seeing probably the main players, the likes of Eriksson, about to leave. We saw the other defender also left for Atletico Madrid. So I think Mourinho will be having a very torrid time, because I mean, Tottenham, where they've got right now, is a team that now needs instant success. And I doubt if Mourinho, probably with the way the team is conceding a lot, if he doesn't maybe go to the market and bring in the right players to maybe suit his style of play, they'll be struggling a lot.
Okay. Before the beginning of the season, there was this one conversation about the move, whether Wanyama was going to be part of Tottenham Hotspurs or not. There was an approach by Club Brugge, but that didn't materialize. Are you reading much more into it right now, considering the fact that Mourinho had to get another player while Wanyama is already in the team? I mean, I think the beginning of the season, the conversation was a bit different, because at the time he had an injury. But here's a situation where he's not on injury, but still Mourinho considers another player to him.
Well, it speaks a lot, because I mean, as a footballer, okay, I play for Sofapaka Football Club. As a footballer, if a new manager comes in your team and probably you have an injury and you don't have the time to maybe prove to the new manager that you're good enough to fit in his plans, it's always difficult, because I mean, the other players, they're definitely ready to step up and that's the occasion maybe take your place. And I think that's what has happened to our own Victor Wanyama. And he was supposed to move to Brugge, but I think probably in terms of monetary, maybe they didn't agree in terms of the financial part of it. But I think probably this is the right moment for him now to move on, because the coach has been playing different players, especially from the youth team, trying to different players. But I mean, we have a Victor Wanyama that probably is now at his peak, or maybe fit enough to try and play, but he's not even featured in the 18-man squad. And there have been reports that Galatasaray are interested in his services. And that's not also a small team, that's a very big team back in Turkey. So I think he should probably now, this is probably the right time to move away from Tottenham. But to me, if I was to move from Tottenham, I think I won't move out of EPL. I'll probably maybe go to a different team, because he still have a lot of years probably to try and improve himself. And there are very many teams that probably his style of play can fit in, the likes of Brighton, the likes of Watford. And I feel he should not make the mistake of probably leaving the EPL, because once you've left the EPL, coming back there will be tough.
But you know, moving from EPL has worked for Lukaku. I mean, look at how Lukaku is playing at the moment.
Yeah, but Lukaku has been in EPL for like all those years.
Much best of his time,
and he's had some very good years with Everton before moving to Chelsea, having a very torrid time, and then moved to Manchester. But again, for Lukaku, I think it was a matter of maybe now trying to change the environment. If you feel the environment is a bit toxic for you to work, maybe to give your best, it's basically it's your time to leave. And you saw the same thing happening to Alexis Sanchez, moved to Inter, and probably he's not been playing that much, but being sidelined a bit with some little bit of injuries. But the moment he went to Inter, together with Lukaku, I think they've been performing well. And so for Lukaku, I think it was all about a matter of maybe change of environment, change of coach, change of system, style, the style of play. Because I mean, if you look at the way Conte has been, the way the new manager at Inter has been coaching him, I think he's been bringing out the best for him. And plus at Manchester, I don't think he was really that welcomed, especially with the fans.
Yeah, because there was always that conversation about people used to taunt him a lot on Facebook, especially during games, about how unfit he is. But I guess who's laughing now? Yeah,
this is a player that has gone to Inter, a very big club, and has proved himself. I mean, he has nothing else to prove. And I think currently, with the way Manchester United is playing, most Manchester United fans are actually envying him because of the type of performance that he's giving at Inter. So it's all about maybe just that change of environment, change of coaches, change of teams. And I think that's probably what should also happen to Victor Wanyama. Probably moving into a different team will give him that confidence to maybe bounce back, the same way Lukaku and Sanchez did.
Talking about Manchester United, do you think they need to make key decisions in terms of who joins the team or who leaves the team at this particular time?
Well, just like in any other team, we can't run from the fact that any team or every team probably during the transfer window, they normally have to recruit players. And for Manchester United, I feel there are players who have overstayed their welcome. Though, let me speak as a player, though the likes of Lingard, probably it hasn't been really working well for them. And that's where also as a player, you should also start questioning yourself, because if you've been in that team for all those years and you're not probably convincing the fans that you're fit enough to play, probably they should move away. And I think it's bound to happen, especially with the type of pressure that is in Manchester United at the moment. They're probably relying on very young players from the youth team, the likes of Greenwood, the likes of James. And it's totally unheard of. This is a Manchester United that back then during Ferguson's time, it was a team that you dread. But now if you look at a team will go at Old Trafford, having the confidence that they believe that they are going to take all the 3 points, something that is unheard of. So I feel probably the coach will go into the market and try to bring on new players, but then again, bringing in new players in the team will probably now take another dimension in terms of maybe how long will the team now try to maybe gel, and maybe you try to get the results, because I mean the teams like Manchester United, Manchester City, Liverpool, it's all about instant results. So if they bring into new players who won't maybe pick up well, it will now again be another pressure on the manager and the new players. But I feel they should be try and maybe be patient enough with the young players and give them time to perform.
Okay. Yeah. On terms of building, there's been a whole conversation about coaches or the board directors of teams always wanting instant coffee. Case in point, Manchester United. There's always people actually expected the team to improve immediately the moment Solskjaer joined the team. So how important is it to give the manager time to give the manager time to build the team and the structure?
Yeah, it's so important for the stakeholders, or maybe for the owners of the team, to give the managers time in order to maybe sign the right player that they feel they need in the team. Because in the past we've seen maybe some of these board members, that the guys who've been signing the team, and if I can give a case study, maybe an example with the Kaizer Chiefs down in the south. In the past they've been signing. In the past the owner of the team is the one who's been signing players. They've been signing players according to names, and most of the players that they've signed with some big money, some staggering figures, have not even made it into the starting 11. And now the fans have been questioning why can't the owner of the team give the coach enough time to maybe pick the right players that he has. And I think this is the first time that the coach has picked the players that he needed. And we've seen Akumu moving to
that's a big move.
That's a big move, and it's actually the coach who scouted him. So we feel that in the same case, maybe if the board of directors, or maybe Woodward and his team, can maybe give Ole Gunnar the time and opportunity to maybe bring in the right players to his team, he's probably bound to perform, hopefully.
Okay. So just to wrap up the conversation on the transfer, these are some of the transfers that have so far happened. We have Gedson Fernandez has moved on an 18-month loan. Has moved on an 18-month loan to Tottenham Hotspurs. Arsenal are considering Ben Sheff, Tyrese John Jules, Emil Smith-Roy, and then Aston Villa have Danny Drinkwater. So we're going to follow the conversation and see how the whole transfer conversation is going to be. Moving on into the La Liga, there's been a move at Barcelona. There's been a change at Barcelona. What do you make of all that change, and what does it tell you about the standard of the team?
I think it speaks a lot, because I mean this is a coach that to me has really been he has really performed well in the past. I mean this is a coach, if you look at the figures, he's brought in like almost 4 cups. I think he's lost some very few number of games. If you look at the way the team has been playing, though it has not been convincing enough like the Barcelona we used to know, because I think also we can also give them a benefit of doubt, because the football dynamics are changing. We're seeing some other teams rising to the occasion, the likes of Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid getting back into the feet. So I feel he was really hard done by being dismissed, and but it was bound to happen, because the type of pressure that was coming into that team, it was just definitely bound to happen. But though I feel he really gave he's really leaving that team with his head held high.
Okay. Yeah. There's this conversation about what is it that Barcelona need to win now. I mean, they won almost everything. What will necessitate a change of manager at this point? Because if you look at their standings in the La Liga, they're doing well. In other competitions as well, they're doing well. Is there anything that will inspire that kind of change?
Well, I think the only thing that can inspire such kind of change is maybe the name and the history of the club. Because if you look at, there's a club that has almost won everything. They're so used to being at the top that it has become lonely. And you know, there's a saying that they say, once you're on the top, the only way now you can go is down. And I think they've been maybe going down because they've been at the helm for so long. And so to me, I feel now it's all about maybe protecting their pride, the history of the club, and the type of players in the team. And I feel that's the reason why probably they fired the new manager, because this is a team that is so used to winning everything. And in the past few years, they've not like gotten all the caps that they needed. So I feel that they just want to protect their name and probably go back to where they belong. But having said that, I don't think that they are so hungry maybe to get all these caps. It's all about now the history of the club, because we are used to seeing Barcelona at the top. Now we are seeing Barcelona maybe a mid-table team, and nobody's used to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, sir, on that note, we're going to take a short commercial break. But when we come back, we're going to be having a look into some of the sports events that you need to look forward to in this coming year. See you after the break.